Meeting will come to order. Welcome, everybody, to the first meeting of 2025. Thank you all for being here. And let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll? Here.
Here. Here. Present. Here.
Great, thank you. All right, for now, we will hear public comment for any item that is not on the agenda. I see we have a few people joining us virtually. If you have a comment, please raise your hand or otherwise signal virtually. Okay, anyone in the audience? No? Okay, seeing none, we'll move forward to special orders. Employee recognition and service awards. Jennifer?
Thank you so much. I am going to turn this over to Craig for today.
Sounds good.
So I'll go ahead and talk about the incredible work that the staff has been doing today. It's not often, I'll just start by saying that it's not often that you get to meet and understand and get the history of our 200 plus staff employees here. And so on these milestone days are a good opportunity to get a little flavor of their past and their work and what they do and how much they've contributed to the district. So I want to thank the directors and the supervisors for really giving us some good bio, little bit of history on some of these staff. So I'm going to read some of this information, some excerpts of each one, and then we'll go from there. We'll just go down the line. Clearly starting in 10 years in 2014 looked like a banner year for NID and employment. So, and we have just kept with an incredible group represented here that we'll go through quickly and talk about today. All staff are represented in a photograph on the slide. And so if you see them around town, if you see them through the yard, please feel free to shake their hand and thank them for the dedication and work that they've given the district and the community over the last number of years. So Michael Page, there on the left hand of the screen, he's a hydroelectric maintenance technician. He was hired as a utility worker here in Grass Valley and worked his way through the ranks, and recently has been moved into the hydroelectric department as the maintenance technician. He does whatever it takes to move the water from the upper reaches of the mountains down to the foothills. Michael enjoys learning new skills, and he claims that his most memorable event at work has been the heavy snow event of 2022. So he's glutton for punishment, apparently. Michael is a versatile employee, and his skills always come in handy and works with a smile and always willing to lend a hand. So thank you, Michael, for your 10 years of service. Richard Dillis, there in the center, our electrical systems technician, started in August of 2014. And 10 years ago, Rick was laying in a dirty crawl space working on an electrical box when he got a call from NID's HR department offering him a job. So quite a turn of events for Rick 10 years ago. He's excelled at all aspects of his position, including the designing and installing of electrical systems, both large and small, performing mechanical repairs to everything from pumps to motors, installing generator connections during the whole PSPS events a number of years ago. Works consistently with our SCADA networks, making them better for our water operations staff, and understanding where our water is and where it's going. He is a great troubleshooter and has extensive works in our PLC modifications and replacements throughout the district. So thank you, Rick, for all the work that you've done. And it sounds like he still gets to lay in a dirty crawl space from time to time. Kenneth Hugg. Ken was originally hired in 2014 as an equipment operator. At the time, he possessed his water treatment operator grade 1 license. And he's been very handy at that time in the treatment crews. Shortly after, he became a temporary assignment to help with the treatment crews, where he was able to learn the ins and outs of the water treatment plant operation. That temporary assignment eventually led into a full-time position as Water Treatment Operator 2 in 2019. Ken's continued to study water distribution and treatment and received his grade 3 certification in both since then. Ken has never stopped studying. He's an avid learner, and he currently is working towards his grade 4 water certification in water treatment, which we'll be examining very soon. So good luck to that, Ken. He's a dedicated worker, continually is relied on as the go-to guy when an extra night shift is called or when extra time is needed. The treatment crew works 24/7, 365 days a year, always called when needed. And Ken's willingness to work those crazy long hours in the middle of the night, often during a snowstorm or a crazy rainstorm, is a huge benefit to the district and his coworkers. So thanks a lot, Ken. Really appreciate it. Oh, fun fact about Ken. He spent 6 years in Hawaii as the beverage director for a Hilton resort. So cheers, Ken.
Is this a downgrade or an upgrade?
Right, right. One of the things in reading through some of these bios, just as a side, is you'll notice the chronological history. I mean, these guys and gals at the district have dedicated. They started in one department. Often they move to a different department, or they stay in the same department and just continue up the line. And it just, a job turns into a career, and that's pretty impressive. Eric Lauer, equipment operator. He came to the district in August of 14 with a strong background in construction work. He worked his way as a utility worker and promoted up into the equipment operator in 2018. He handles many large-scale projects, one of which was rehabbing the tar canal on Pilot Pete Lane next to Director Johansson's region. Eric and his wife have 2 lovely children, and together they have a passion for the great outdoors, including hunting, fishing, and snowmobiling. Eric's dad also worked for the district for many years. His dad, Chuck, in the hydroelectric department years ago. So thank you, Eric, for your 10 years of service.
Craig, I just want to add, if no one has seen what his work looks like, it is masterful.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Yeah. The skill level is incredible out there. Thanks for that. Jeffrey Farmer. Jeff was hired as an equipment mechanic and is now working as a hydroelectrical machinist. He helps keep the turbines running and has been involved in some of the largest projects, from valve replacements to protective relay upgrades. Jeff's most memorable moment at work was the recent storm where 5 feet of snow fell at the hydro headquarters. Jeff is one of those that lives the furthest away from the hydro headquarters in Colfax. And notably, he was one of the first to arrive in those days, cutting his way through his own road and trees and chainsaws and getting there in the middle of the night and dark just to get to work on time during those snowstorms. So Jeff has a great attitude and a tremendous asset to the district. So thank you for your service, Jeff. Joshua was originally hired in 2014 again, where he spent a year and a half as a Utility 1 worker. He studied and received his grade 2 distribution license and was promoted to water distribution operator, where he spent another 2.5 years working the Nevada County routes. Josh continued to study and was promoted to water treatment operator in 2019. After receiving his grade 3 treatment license, Josh was promoted to water treatment plant operator 3, which is the full journey level of the water treatment operator series. Josh has never stopped studying water treatment and has recently passed the state test for his grade 4 certification. Prior to working at NID, Josh attended UC Davis and received a Bachelor of Arts in Art Studio, and originally began working as an EMT for an ambulance. He is also used to be a hotshot for the CAL FIRE crews from 29 to 2014. And a fun fact about Josh, he attended Oxford University, where he studied art history in 2008. Josh, glad you're here. Thanks so much for your service. Next slide. We have Trisha. Trisha started her career here in customer service and worked her way through as a senior customer service representative. Most recently in 2024, Trisha took over as the business service technician for the district. In that role, she is responsible for contacting and the face of the district for so many of our programs and processes, both for the general public as well as for developer and commercial projects. Trisha is extremely organized, has great customer service skills, easily approachable, and is always willing to offer support to those in need, both at the public as well as at the district, with a smile. When not at work, Trisha spends her time line dancing or running around to various sporting events as a proud mom. Trisha has become an incredibly valuable asset to the engineering department, so thank you for your time, Trisha. Danny Granholm, Chief Water Treatment Operator. Danny came to the district as a temporary utility worker. He was a standout employee quickly and was offered a job as a water treatment plant operator in 2014. He quickly moved up the ladder to a senior plant operator and then now to the chief plant operator as of 2019. Prior to NID, Danny owned a powder coating business. Danny loves cheering on his grandchildren at football games and cheerleading events and spending days fishing on his boat, heading out hunting, or wild adventures with his dog. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate your time. Okay. We're moving on to 15 years. We've got two staff that are our 15-year monumental occasion here. We've got Andy Browning on the left there on the screen. Andy started in 2009 as a utility worker and worked for 3 years on the raw water crew, assisting with the spray crew when he was needed. And in 2012, he moved to the treated water service crew, where he's worked for about 7 years, working through the ins and outs of the water system. In 2018, Andy was promoted to cross-control connection technician. That is a hard title to say. In the operations department. In that role, Andy tested and maintained NID's growing number of backflow and cross-connection devices. And in March of this last year, 2024, he joined the hydroelectric department as the hydroelectric plant operator, where he's excelling and doing incredible work over there. So thanks a lot, Andy. Appreciate your 15 years. Gene Presley. Gene has steadily advanced through the ranks from water distribution operator to senior water distribution operator. He's demonstrated a versatility in managing multiple routes, both in Nevada and Placer counties. Most recently, Gene's taken out the leadership role, overseeing and assisting with the operations in the Flushing crew. So big kudos to that. Fun fact, when he's not playing basketball or softball, Gene cherishes spending quality time with his daughter and joining in on activities that she loves the most. Thank you, Gene. Appreciate your 15 years. Kobe McCoy on the left. We're up to the 20-year mark, so 2 decades of time served here at the district, which is incredible. Gene was originally hired as a utility worker in the Placer yard. He was promoted to the equipment service worker in 2005, where he moved up to the Grass Valley yard. Kobe began studying and receiving water treatment distribution certifications and was offered the position as treatment plant operator in 2009. Kobe excelled, of course, during this time and began climbing through the ranks as senior operator and then the chief plant operator in 2016. Kobe was offered the position as water treatment supervisor in 2023, overseeing the operations of all 6 of NID's water treatment plants, as well as the associated pump stations, storage tanks, and supervising staff of the 9 plant operators. Kobe stays incredibly busy, juggling these responsibilities and ensuring And while he's juggling his responsibilities at work, he's ensuring his 3 children attend their gymnastics competitions across the state while also raising farm animals for the FAA locally in the area. When he's got some downtime, you'll find him at Rollins doing some lake surfing and wake surfing on their boat. Thank you so much, Cody. Appreciate your time. Matthew Halverson, here in the center picture, is our assistant water superintendent. Matt began as in the maintenance department before transitioning to water ops. Over the years, Matt has risen through the ranks, starting as the distribution water operator and advancing to his current role as assistant water superintendent. Matt oversees our backflow programs, where he's excelled in ensuring the district remains fully compliant and working with state regulations as he can. Fun fact about Matt is he's happiest when he's out camping or cheering on his 3 kids at the sporting events. Being there for those moments for his kids are something Matt truly treasures. So thank you, Matt. Appreciate your time here at the district. The gentleman on the right is Doug Roderick.
I know, right?
It looks like it.
There doesn't seem to be anything written down for Doug that day. So I think we'll take this opportunity to say thank you, Doug, for your 20 years. And we'll have more to say about you very soon.
I think we need a speech.
No, we don't need a speech from Doug.
We don't need a
No.
speech.
Mm-mm. Not
Well,
yet.
what I'll tell you, what I noticed about this is that there are people who have 25 years, Doug. You know, just saying, you could give some thought to that.
5 more years. Moving to the next slide.
Okay.
Up to 25 years, a quarter of a century. Doug won't make this.
He could.
Tony Massini is NID's construction inspector too. Tony's been with us, my gosh, for 25 years. And I'll just read what it says. Tony spent a significant amount of his career within the engineering department mostly. His first job was a drafter with quill and ink, utilizing AutoCAD to develop and design drawings for the engineers before becoming a construction inspector. His position is crucial to ensuring that all our new facilities are being constructed to NID's design standards so that they operate as designed. Tony has great practical knowledge and provides feedback to all of our engineers during the design phase of all projects. He's worked on hundreds of jobs throughout his time and during his career at the district, from developer projects and private fire services to very large capital projects. Some of the larger capital projects include the E. George treatment plant expansion, Banner Taylor and Alta Sierra storage tank replacements, and the Siphon Lane raw water pump station that was used all summer long and critical during the last year's PG&E Spalding outage. So thank you, Tony, for all the work that you do, and keep it up. Cameron Price, another quarter century employee, started as a Utility One worker. He was promoted to equipment operator within 3 years of employment. Cameron held the equipment operator position until 2014, when he was promoted to the maintenance supervisor position. In August of 2016, Cameron continues to excel and is promoted to the maintenance superintendent position. To the vast amount of experience in all divisions of that department. As maintenance superintendent is the highest rank in the maintenance department field, Cameron is vital to the overall establishment of management of the whole staff at that department. And we thank you extremely for all of your service and time and effort here, Cameron. Finally, the last of the quarter century folks, we've got Mr. Ken Kofer. Happy 25th anniversary, Ken, as the district's recreation superintendent. Ken started with the district as a utility worker, so you can see they're all here. Ken is present. Ken is present with us. Ken, I'll just tell you what you've done. You were promoted to the maintenance crew supervisor in 2004, and in October of 2020, you settled into a new role in a new department over in the recreation as the superintendent. Your leadership and dedication have been instrumental in the growth of both maintenance and the recreation department for the last 4 years. Your influence and ability to train and guide staff is truly remarkable, Ken. The relationships you've maintained with the district, with other agencies, and with the public throughout your services have helped move this district forward and various projects within our community forward. So thank you, Ken, for your passion and your dedication, and good to see you.
Mhm. Thank you. Are there any directors that would like to add comment or kudos to any of our folks? Yes.
One thing I noticed about all these employees is that the family and outdoors seems to be very important to them, which is really nice considering where we're located and stuff like that. It's ideal. I know that a company is only as good as its employees. And it's very hard in today's society to retain employees for a length of time, with everybody shifting gears every so often. So I'm very pleased to see the number of employees that are here for such a length period of time.
Yes. Here. Rich, anything?
I just want to ditto what Earl said, but everyone I have met in NID has just been stellar,
Mhm.
really committed. And we have a mission to deliver quality, affordable water, and that's what we do. And thank you all for doing it.
Brad?
I have nothing to add.
Nothing? Chris?
I just want to say, carrying forward what Rich said, what really counts oftentimes with me is what the community or constituents have to say about the employee and the service they get. So they're the face of NID when they're, I hear it a lot that they fixed the road better than it was before they tore it up. And so that speaks well of our employees, and I want to thank them all.
And I'll just add, you guys are all amazing. And you've all been here a long time, and you all deserve our thanks and our applause. So.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anyone from the public that wants to weigh in on this? Oh, okay, seeing none. Oh, wait, our fellow disappeared there. Ken disappeared. He just wanted to get out before anyone started talking about him. Okay, great. With that, we will move to our consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Is there any comment, public or otherwise, from directors? Anybody want to pull any items? No? Great. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Yes.
I know, it's all different now.
It's all different.
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2,
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes. Okay, thank you. A consent agenda is approved. Move now to general orders. Resolution to terminate the Bank of America Retirement Trust. Will that be you, Jen?
I think Sandra will take the lead. This is a
Oh, great.
part of our longtime cleanup effort. This is an old relic trust that's been around for a long time, and it's time to close this up.
Mm-hmm.
Turn it over to Sandra. Thank you. Morning, board.
Good morning.
Sandra.
Director of Finance. So yeah, as it was mentioned, we're bringing forward a resolution to terminate the Bank of America Retirement Trust. And it was an old trust established in 1983. There were about 34 retirees in that trust when it was established. And over the years, they have since deceased. So the last one deceased July of 2022. So over the past year or so, we in finance have been working through to make sure, do our due diligence, read through some agreements, work with our legal counsel to make sure the recipients or their heirs received they deserved. So we're at a point now where in 2024, there were some outstanding checks from one particular participant, and we had to hunt them down. They passed away, but we found the daughter, and so we were able to void and reissue. So all checks have cleared. The COLAs have been paid, so we feel comfortable to now close this out. So there's about $82,000 remaining in this trust. Some of the narrative back in 2015, there was a large deposit of about $121,000. It's kind of unknown why that lump sum was just deposited into there. The only thing I can assume is that instead of making small deposits each year, just make a deposit and then pay the COLAs out each year. However, history, we went from 34 to 3 or 4 in those last couple years. So really, this is truly an over deposit that should be returned to the district. We have all the documentations and physical checks that have cleared this bank account showing that the COLAs have been paid to them or their spouse. So we, again, feel confident that we're ready to close this one out.
Great. And we have Mr. Manazian's
Blessing.
blessing
Oh, yes.
for
and
doing this.
Paul is the
Just-
trustee on this.
Yeah, that's kind
so
of an important
He
piece.
helped write
Yeah.
the resolution and staff reports.
Right.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, we worked very closely with legal. One of our accountants, Diana, I want to thank her. She's worked very hard on researching and finding that last one to reissue the check to. So that's all been great.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Are there any director comments? Okay, is there any public comment with regard to this issue? Virtually or otherwise? Okay, seeing none, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Madam President, I'll move that we adopt resolution 2025-02, termination of the 1983 Retirement Trust Director's direction regarding trust funds and obligations.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam President, will you call the roll?
Yes.
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2,
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, General Manager's report.
I'll make this brief. Since it's the beginning of the new year, as the board is aware, we kind of start out a little slow before we start ramping back up with a variety of actions related to capital projects and other initiatives we're taking on. I did want to report that staff is working diligently on getting the boat ramps back open at Scotts Flat and Rollins that we closed due to the golden mussel issue. We have not received any guidance from the state yet, but we are hoping to get them open up within this month.
And we'd have inspection.
Yeah, likely it'll be some type of inspection program. Unfortunately, the golden mussel is able to reproduce at a rapid rate. One mature mussel can have tens of thousands of babies within months. And so they could clog the powerhouse as well as get into the canal system and essentially destroy our infrastructure.
Mhm.
So we are looking, it will likely be some type of inspection program. It's a real problem with boats getting transferred from other waterways, such as
Mhm.
like fishing boats, and then they come up and they bring them up into all waterways. We also currently have protocols for the zebra mussel, but we don't have as big of a problem with the zebra mussel due to the chemical content of our water. But we do have a chemical content of our water that is conducive for breeding of the golden mussel.
So Jennifer, for me, the risk outweighs the benefit.
The risk of the mussel?
Yep.
Yeah, it could cause, it could destroy our powerhouses and the canal systems. It is alarming.
So how much are we going to lose on, could we ever report how much we will lose on not having boats?
We would lose a whole lot more money if they got out of control and destroyed our infrastructure than we would off of
Right.
boat ramps. Well, we do want to get them back open, but we aren't going to do that until we have a solid system in place. We don't want to ruin the canal system either.
Well, hang on, I'm just put it out there. I'm willing to not do this in a month or 2 or 3. I'd rather see what is happening in the rest of the state.
Yeah, there did 2 waterways already, kind of more east of like Stockton's and the Central Valley
Mhm.
area. They really the issue is with the fishermen boats because
Right.
they move so much for different
Yeah.
contests or whatever they're doing. But, we'll keep the board apprised and we can bring an item back to formally talk about what our plan is. But my recommendation is we keep them closed till we have a solid plan in place.
Perfect.
Yes.
Is there a certain time of year that this mussel spawns that would
Like
not,
all year.
it's all year round, even in
Yeah, and I'm
higher
not a
elevation?
muscle expert. But,
Sorry.
yeah, I know very little about the golden mussel. Tina and Sierra from how long do they spawn all year, Peter? I think they do too.
Okay.
Are they,
They have like 10,000 babies a piece. Yeah, one mussel can have over 10,000 babies.
are they born pregnant?
They start getting pregnant when they're like, what was it, between 3 and 6 months old? Yeah, it was something really, and they're tiny. They're only like this big, but you have, you know, you, right. You have 10 of them, they have 10,000, and those 10,000 have 10,000, and then all of a sudden it's out of control.
We currently have procedures to wipe down boats, et cetera, and
Mm.
stuff like that. That's for the zebra mussel, I think.
Yeah, the zebra mussel is primarily monitoring. It's not that big of an issue for us because we don't have our water. It's not enough calcium, right, in our water for the zebra mussel to survive. So we've never even found one. We do inspections. We are going to be able to tier off of that program for the golden mussel, but it's going to have to be more intensive.
Is there a kryptonite for this type of mussel that we can either put into run through our penstock real quick? I don't,
Sterilize them or
an
something.
acid or something that we could, do a routine flush or something that's not going to be.
Not that I know of yet, but we're researching everything we can, and the state is working on it as well because it's going to end up being a statewide issue. So we'll come back with some recommendations. But we do get some pressure from the public. They want those boat ramps back open, which we understand. But at the same time, we don't want to destroy our infrastructure. So
Right.
yeah, there was a couple of the reservoirs kind of in the mid Sierras have also closed their boat ramps, and so we're having fishing derbies wanting to come to Rollins.
Mhm.
And so we've put a stop to that.
Mhm.
That was the primary reason why we closed the boat ramps till we had this under control.
This may sound silly, but is there a way that we could have the boats as they leave to pour DI water through their intakes?
Yeah,
Just something as simple as that.
usually it's like a drain. It has to be drained and dry for 30 days before they can come in. So a lot of lakes will do some type of tagging
Yep.
system.
Yeah.
Tag and seal system. So I'm guessing we're going to go towards something like that where this is such a new issue that we're still waiting on some of the statewide guidance, which should be out. Staff's been checking with them on a routine basis. We expect it to be out within a couple of weeks.
So how much do we lose if we do not allow boats?
I don't know that we're prepared to answer those questions. I think I might have gone a little too far on this off agenda topic, but
Right.
I'll get you that answer.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
I had a question. So our other water agencies like at New Bullard's Bar, is that closed also, which I imagine has, and it's strictly my imagination, they have similar water?
Yeah, we checked in with them and PCWA and they were just scrambling like we were. I don't
Okay.
know that they've closed it yet. We just wanted to we don't have as much wiggle room in the budget as they do, so we're.
Yes, that's the truth.
I do know, what was it, New Malones and who's the other one?
San Pedro?
Comanche closed.
New Hogan.
And I haven't, and this was prior to Christmas, so I haven't checked to see who's closed since then.
So if I'm hearing right, there's, this is a new thing, so there's not state protocol, because it's a new.
Yeah, they just are,
It's
are.
new in the
just
state
found.
then,
Yeah,
right?
where did they come from?
Okay.
I think it was somewhere in Asia.
Of course.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I had.
That's all you have. Okay.
That's
Do we
enough.
have an update on our storage? And I know Rollins is spilling.
Yeah, Rollins is filling. I don't know, Chip, or you want to do an update?
Yep.
Yeah, we're looking decent, but of course, we had really good rain and now we're dry in January.
Chip was dancing quite a bit in December.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What kind of music do you like, dance?
Okay, good morning, board.
Good
Right,
morning.
Chip.
Chip Close, Director Water Operations. It's been a little while, so threw a few slides together to get you guys up to speed on where we're at. And we'll just jump right on into it. For those of you that have not seen this slide before, we'll walk through. Basically, what you're looking at is this is the Bowman Lake precipitation. In the graph itself, the dark shaded blue on the bottom right is the average. But the colored lines all represent various years. And as you can see where we're at this year at 29.91, we're at 116% of average on precip, which is really pretty good, although the forecast is drying up as you have seen in the next 10 days. So although we're above average now, I would imagine in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be below.
What does it look like in February and March?
So the long-term forecasters have predicted January will be dry. Shocking. But they also say at the end of January to February looks wet again. So we'll see. Here's the recent snow survey. We haven't conducted one of our own yet. We generally don't do it until February.
Right.
It's still pretty early. But this does tell the tale of two different Californias. Northern California, we're sitting at 150% of average in the snow water content. Central California, which we are part of, is at 91%, and then Southern California is at, 67. So you can kind of see that line here in the latest California drought monitor. Northern California looks to be in great shape, whereas Southern California is moving into and towards drought. And this is as of December 31st. If you look at October, you can see the change. All that rain that has hit Northern California kind of pulled us out of the drought area, but moved Southern California into it. So our reservoirs are in really good shape. But again, as Jennifer mentioned, this isn't the whole story. Although the reservoirs may fill, we still will not have access to the upper watershed waters, the Jackson Meadows, the Bowmans, the Spaldings. All of that is going to be isolated again as PG&E moves forward into their next outage. But still, reservoir storage is at 205,000 acre feet, which is 110% of the 11-year average. The important reservoirs, this is actually one of our internal graphs, and what you can see, this is Rollins Lake. This is right after the New Year's there. It came up and actually spilled, which was great news for NID for a number of reasons. But the most important is it's full and will be really beneficial as we move into the next round of outages for PG&E. The next reservoir that we are most concerned with is Scotts Flat. And this shows you from December to current. And as you can see, it is filling. Part of this is a little bit of Mother Nature, but really most of it is thanks to our hydro crew and our distribution operators running that canal at high flows that we don't generally do in the winter months. So we're pouring 60 CFS down the South Yuba Canal to try to fill Scotts ahead of time. And it's so far been pretty successful. I don't think we'll make it to spill, but we will get fairly close. So we're in pretty good shape.
So
Great.
maybe I'll wait, but well, I got people asking me already, when can they start calling in to ask for more water? And we have a moratorium, so we can't do that. But when will we be making a decision, you think? March?
No, it will be much earlier and little off topic, but definitely one that our constituents are going to be concerned with. Given the uncertainty of where we're at with all the PG&E outages yet to come, there's a high likelihood we'll just roll the emergency declaration into the new year until the repairs are complete. And if you remember, in fact, the declaration stated that we are in this emergency declaration until all PG&E repairs are complete.
And that's a prudent move.
It is. It's conservative, but appropriate given the situation we have at hand and kind of some of the things we ran into last year that were unexpected. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to prepare people for the best case scenario, knowing that we may well hit the worst case scenario. So that's kind of where we're at.
Thank you. Sir.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Director Beerwagen.
Excuse me, but you mentioned briefly the outage earlier, and we talked a couple of meetings back about having this break-off point based on the drought or the dry January scenario. What's your crystal ball say about PG&E outage versus not having an outage?
So great question. PG&E is ready to go no matter what, as far as what they need. We've always expressed concern. We need enough water storage to allow this to move forward. And now that Rollins is full and there's enough water storage up in Spalding to probably keep Rollins full regardless of what happens the rest of winter. Scott's becomes the issue. However, two things there. One is we are pouring extra water into Scott's, trying to get it as full as we can. And two, PG&E has somewhat promised that they are going to get Spalding 2 powerhouse back online, and or if not, will bypass it and continue to allow some water feed into Scott's even during the next outage.
Okay.
So that will be tremendously beneficial to us, and we are leaning heavily on them to see that through.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Brad, any questions? Anyone else have
I'll
questions?
give you a quick tour of the state real quick. It'll
Great,
be real
okay, thank
fast.
you.
So basically across California, all reservoirs are in really good shape. In fact, across the state, the average is 121%. You can see Shasta is way above the average. Orville, same boat. Folsom Lake is a little lagging, but that's mainly because they really exercised Folsom to the maximum this last summer. And so now it's just now starting to catch back up. And then New Bullards actually is a little behind. They're going to hit flood control stage here pretty quick and have to dump even more water. But I anticipate when the runoff starts occurring, they will raise even more rapid than what you see there.
Hmm.
The U.S. seasonal drought monitor is very similar to what you just saw in the California one, where Southern California and that whole area is in drought, and then the Midwest as well. 6-day, 10-day temperature outlook is above average for our area. And then the precipitation is well below, which we've all seen in the 10-day. And then the treated water usage for last year, although we declared the emergency and asked for a reduction, overall, the entirety of the year, we were actually 4% more than in 2023. And I accredit that to one of the hottest summers we've experienced in a long, long time. So it looks unfortunate, but given the heat, it's understandable. And that's it.
Thank you. Now,
Wow.
is that, all those slides available easily and findable on our website?
Yeah, we have posted it
Yeah.
on our webpage, and we'll update it with this last version.
That'd be great. Sometimes I have trouble navigating and finding it. And maybe that's, my operator error.
Ruben can do it for you.
Not yet.
I do have a question.
Yes, please.
So one of your slides, and I don't know if you referenced it on this one or it's one I just saw recently on maybe it's on the GM's report. It said that there was 0 snowpack at Bowman.
Right.
And is that correct?
That's what I saw.
I saw that. You saw the same thing?
Yeah.
And I thought that can't be right. But it said there's 0 inches of snow at Bowman.
Yeah, well, I will say is that the snow level's been very high this year. The storms have been warm.
Mhm.
And I don't know what the current number is. I can get that for you. But yes,
It's just-
the upper elevations are great. Lower elevations are suffering.
I was just surprised to do that.
Yeah.
And that was anticipated with climate change,
Yes.
is that our watershed is lower
Yeah.
than a lot of the other state. So we're going to be suffering with a higher snow level, more rain events, and a lesser snowpack.
Last year, this time we had like 9 feet up at Bowman though, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah. So this might be a classic climate change winter to look at, because I think our anticipation, we normally get 110,000 acre feet in snowpack, and we're anticipating 55,000 acre feet going forward.
Yeah, and when we conduct a snow survey at the beginning of February, we'll be able to hone in on those numbers.
Great. So as part of your update, and we're talking about PG&E briefly there, is there an update from PG&E? Last we all heard there was a letter that didn't really go over well with any of us, and you were going to respond. And I get questions from constituents. It's like, well, what is happening? So my question is, not that you have to do anything in this moment, but if we could have perhaps at our next meeting, a more comprehensive PG&E update. And I think, I've had questions about what is that cooperative operating agreement? Is that something we can do in open session, or is that a closed session thing? Because many of us, I'm sure Earl and Brad have never seen it. I think I've seen.
The agreement itself isn't confidential. So yeah, we can review it. We can share it with you. Well, how about this? We'll cobble up an update for next time. PG&E has refused to come back to any meetings. So staff will provide the update. I can reach out to them and see if they had a change of heart in the new year.
I did reach out to them yesterday just to see if there was an
Mhm.
update, and basically they said that there is no update. They are on schedule with the detailed schedule they provided us, and
Yeah.
really nothing
been
to
a little
report at
quiet.
this point in time.
And we have no further communication about the root cause and any of that.
We have sent letters back to them. We have also put in a request to FERC, which we have not heard back from yet.
Hmm.
So I'll double check on everything. Everything, especially with federal agencies, seems to go dark during the holiday period. So,
Right.
We'll bring back a update for next time.
Okay. Thank you.
If I could piggyback on that.
Yes.
Could we include in that update this bypass that you were talking about, how much water would be bypassed?
Oh, good
how-
idea.
How it would be done? Got it.
For sure.
Great. Anything else for Jen? Okay, we'll move to director's items. So we'll start with Earl. How about that?
Nothing to report this time.
That's fine. Okay. Rich?
A lot to report, but not going to talk about it.
Was you afraid of getting
Are you afraid?
shut down?
I do have a question. What are we going to be looking at possibly next meeting? Like on the agenda? Are we looking at the budgets and things different, no,
Well, we passed the budget for.
Yeah. but capital improvement programs, we looked at that. What can we anticipate in 2 weeks?
I think,
Is that the,
well, you
Where-
answer.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
No.
Are you going somewhere?
We typically don't do much
Right.
budget work. We'll do a reconciliation with the capital program. I don't know that'll be on the next meeting. It'll be coming up soon, and that kind of deals with kind of year-end cleanup rollover kind of items. But you know, be mindful of that. We are still receiving invoices from vendors for last year, so
Right.
we won't usually do that till kind of like the second meeting in February timeframe, till we close those books down.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm just.
Yeah, and we don't usually do a large budget update either. The budget is approved and
Right.
we're going along. Yeah, we're doing all of our year-end transition and
Close out and
close out, open up. Yeah.
reconciliations. Yeah.
And is Dustin going to give a report on the water, the update?
On that, I'll come back to the board with the plan. I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure what the schedule for that's going
Yeah,
to
the
be.
Bay Delta.
Thank you.
Okay.
Brett, anything you want to
Yeah,
report?
a couple things. I'm looking forward to the upper and lower division tours that Director Beerwagon mentioned last meeting.
Mhm.
I think that'll be useful to all the board, or certainly to myself and Earl anyways. Somebody asked me about standby fees. Greg and I spoke about it a little bit, so I need to learn a little bit more about that process and just what those mechanisms are. As far as the dry weather, we are in the midst of lambing season at home, and so we've got about 100. We're about halfway. Got about 100 ewes left to go. This is the perfect lambing season. We're done with the calves, and then we'll start goats here in about a month. So, anyways, the weather's spectacular for that. And the grass grew 3 inches yesterday, and I expect that tomorrow we'll get another 3 inches out of it. It's 70 degrees at my house is what we're forecasted. So, great for ranching, but we'd like to see some more rain too. That's all that's going on in my world.
Thank you.
And no report from me.
No report
No
for you.
report.
Okay, well, I have a couple things I'd like to report and then ask about. So over these holiday weeks, I did a lot of walking our amazing canals and actually family would come and then I would, kind of did this tour. And again, thanks to our staff, every time we'd go through a trash rack or we'd see something, people were just stunned at the work that our folks do. And I was always reminded about the quality of folks that we've got out there working in the field. So that was fun. I got to see a lot of places that I actually hadn't been to before. So we made it our goal to do a lot of walking. I too want to suggest that we schedule some director tours of upper and lower division. I know we've done that in the past and I think we all want to do that, right?
And Debbie Tutucci asked if Farm Bureau and different groups could be joined in on that.
That's my idea.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, people could bring, it could be an open thing and people could bring a bag lunch and everybody could show up or, whatever we need to do to agendize and the Brown Act and all that good stuff. So,
Just remember, our district's really big. You're not we're not visiting all.
Oh, no, it would have to be over a period of weeks or months.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. That would take a whole lot of staff time to put together over weeks or months. It'd be several public meetings
Right.
up in the upper
Right.
Uh-huh.
elevation.
I think it's worthy. I think we're worthy of doing that. That would be my opinion. Then let's see. Yes, I've been getting a lot of constituent questions about the muscles. And one question I had, you had talked about calcium or not calcium. What is it? What is it that they like to have to grow? And what is it that keeps them from growing? Is it the calcium?
Several different.
I'm trying to,
They like
high
just calcium water.
They like high calcium water. Okay, I just want to just,
Shells.
Because they like to make their shell.
yeah, because they're making their shells, right?
Golden.
Oh, they like any. Exactly.
Oh, they like any.
Low calcium.
Oh, we're low calcium and they're cool about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that because it's confusing to me. I'm not a chemist. And let's see. Oh, I know. The other thing is I would like to mention and see if the board would like to do this is to review our strategic plan so that in the we're beginning a new year. What of the strategic plan do we want to look at? Is there anything we want to change
We typically do that in February.
in February? Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure we do that. Yeah. Are you guys
It noted that we just did the strategic plan about 2 years ago.
understood? But we can, but the world changes and we want to
So-
look at.
No, I'm talking.
Well,
what our goals are.
we do two things every year. Prior to the budget, we review the prior to us developing and having the board approve the new budget, we review the
Mhm.
strategic plan. We also review operational initiatives that are kind of spearheaded by staff for a variety of different reasons. We do that usually kind of in February, March timeframe.
Mhm.
Last year, there was a request to kind of combine those two together, so we will be doing that in February, March.
Oh, great. Great. I just think it's important, especially for those who've not been here, like some of us, to just, what are your goals for
Right.
2025 and how are we moving forward? So thanks, that'd be great. And then lastly, one of the things I get asked about a lot is, in fact, a lot, is the disposition of excess properties and where that is going to fit into our plan for 2025. It's coming. It's coming?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. And it's coming first quarter, second quarter. I mean, do we have some sort of something I can give folks when I get asked?
We'll report back likely February, March timeframe.
Sooner than
Sooner than later. Okay, great. And, okay, well, that's it for me. Anything else from anyone else? Questions? Public? No? Okay. With that, we will adjourn to January 22nd at 9 a.m. Thank you very much.
bingo.